Welcome back to another episode of Six-Sided. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you all very much for being here. Some big, hard-hitting statements. We're going to ask the panel whether they are fact or whether they are fiction. We're talking about United. Are we back? We're looking at Arsenal. They're truly the clear favourites to win the Premier League. We're going to be taking a look at Liverpool and their problems and asking a big question about Kerkez, Wirtz, and Mohamed Salah. Plus, Enzo Maresca. Is he the reason that Chelsea currently sit mid-table, or is it more about recruitment? All that and more to come on Six-Sided tonight. We have a brilliant panel for you as well. Tom Little, he's back with us again. He couldn't come on at the weekend. His mum rung me and said he can't stop crying. She just said, we know he's 23 years old, but he still looks 12, and we need him to have a day off of socials because he hasn't stopped crying for a few weeks. It's good to see you back here, bro. Negative Dan is in the house, aka the realist Gooner from Gooner Therapy. Thank you for being here again, my bro. Lewis, big up, bro. We've got Lewis Mason with us, who is a big Manchester City fan. They've actually not really been cooked too much after losing this weekend. I suppose it's because all the real big clubs have lost as well. So they just sit there in the background and no one noticed. We've got Double A in the house, back with us again. United going strong. So, last time he saw 3 wins at Old Trafford, I have no idea. I think I was bored. I was bored back then. And we have Giuseppe. Mamma mia, with us in the house. If you can hear some noise in the background, that isn't crying Liverpool fans, crying Tottenham fans. That is indeed his little baby daughter. So welcome back to the show. Welcome to everyone. Hope you're all good and well.
Brilliant. All good.
Brilliant.
I've been better.
I bet you have. Well, we know that.
Oh, listen, I don't even feel for you, mate. I'll be honest with you, I don't feel for you. It's hilarious. I hope more of it happens. It's a thing of beauty.
I'd be worried if you did, Terry, mate. I think the whole point of football is you shouldn't ever feel sorry for
I've never got that, the amount of over the past couple of years, Arsenal or Liverpool fans that go, oh, I actually feel a bit bad for United. No, I don't. It's so much funnier when your rivals are shit. I hope they stay shit forever.
No, do you know what? I don't think. Sorry, go on, bro.
I was going to say, I question any fan that would say they do. You should ever feel sorry for us. I would never feel sorry for any of you if you went through what we have gone through. I
think all fans are though the rubbish. We say, oh, I feel bad, but the second they start doing good again, you're like, no, go back to being crap. You know what I mean? It's all just tongue in cheek.
Yeah, the fact Man United won 3 back-to-back is making me sick to my stomach. Yeah, sick to my
Do you know what I think it is for me? Maybe it's because the job I do here, I do have to work really hard on being not biased. I have a bit of it. I think it's more taking the mick becomes boring. It wouldn't be bad to see Liverpool lose more, but it becomes a bit like, okay, I've wound them up enough. It's just more now. Let's just leave them be a little bit. That is, I think that's from is it from The Simpsons? He's already dead, or whatever it is. It's that moment for me. But listen, each to their own. I'm sure you're going to get a lot more stick on the show tonight, Tom. But look, let's start the show with the first question, and I'm going to go to Double A first with this one. And I want to make sure I read it correctly, because again, if you haven't watched Six-Sided, we take claims that have been made on socials by people and we ask whether they're fact or fiction and delve into it. So, fact or fiction, Double A, Man United have finally turned a corner, and now the push for Europe is truly on. Fiction or fact?
Would you like my answer or the top red answer? Because top red answer is 21 is incoming, surely, yeah? Obviously, 3 games in a row. Everything's rolled at Old Trafford. Nothing's wrong. We are back. Well, the real answer is absolutely not. It's 3 games. It means nothing. We could go on to lose the next 5. Does it change anything? Absolutely not. And I was on a show last night and we was questioning all of this. We can't, just because we won 3 games, then start to say things have changed, because nothing has changed. We look a lot better. We do look a lot better. We actually look cohesive. We actually look like a football team with a plan. The manager is changing things. He looks like he's becoming more adaptive to situations, to games, rather than just hitting his head against a brick wall trying the same thing, week in, week out, which I have to applaud him for. And by no means, just because I've questioned him over the last 11 months and feel like he wasn't the man, am I going to start to, double down on that and think it's just, purple patch and he'll go back to being to being rubbish again, which he might. That might happen. But right now, all we can say is, he's won 3 games in a row, which he's not even won 2 until we beat Liverpool. So to do 3 is big for him. But before we can say we're back or we're close to challenging for top 4 or Europe even, we need to get. I need to see what we're like over the next 10 games from now, really, to see any sort of. So, because people say, "Are we in form?" We can't even say you're in form, really. You've had 3 good results. We've got 2 tricky away games. We get through them unbeaten. Then you start to say, right, there's some form building now, and maybe he is starting to change the narrative around him, around his football, and around Manchester United with him in charge. But until any of that happens, I can't sit here and say after 3 games, as good as the Liverpool game was, as good as Saturday was up until 70 minutes. As good as they are, you have to really take it with a pinch of salt because, again, in the next 5 games, we lose 4, draw 1, we're back to square one, aren't we? And that's the last thing any of us want, United fans, anyway.
I hear that. I'll throw this out to the panel before I have my say, even though it's a United topic. Can any of you see tactical differences, game approach differences in the last 3 matches? Or do you feel that it's just been maybe a little lucky that United have won? Or do you feel that there have been some changes, player attitude, tactical things? What have you guys seen anything different from United in the last 3 matches?
Mentality, I think, for me. I think that's a big one. If you watch that Liverpool game back, I remember going into the second half, and I know they rode the luck at times, but obviously, we were beat yesterday by Villa, and rightly so. But they soaked up the pressure nearly all game, and I felt like United did that in really big moments against Liverpool. And I think previous seasons, I think you would have just folded. And I know a lot of Liverpool fans. We've all seen the clips now, haven't we, of all the streamers coming out before the game and talking about 4-0s and 3-0s, and I saw one lad talking 6-0 plus. And everyone expected United to kind of fold, but I think with the momentum that's been going, and I think where Liverpool were, I think United, the big difference for me was the mentality of soak it up, we will catch them. And I knew going into that second half, I said, some of the lads I was watching it with, they'll get them on the counter here and they will score. And obviously they held out right until the end of the game. So I think for me, tactically, yeah, maybe there have been some differences, but I think for the first time, I can't remember the last time I thought it really, but they look strong mentally at the minute. Players like Maguire coming in, getting the winning goal. Obviously I can't stand United, but personally for him, if you were going to pick any player, it would have been Harry Maguire, wouldn't it? So I think that was a testament really to the mentality. If I could take anything away from that game, it would be, I think they were just mentally stronger than Liverpool in that game, and it counted in the end.
What are you saying, Dan? Do you feel, obviously you've got friends that are United fans, and you obviously know most people know a United fan or two. Do you think it's 3 games is no one should be getting ahead of themselves? It should be celebrate the wins and see how things are moving forward, or do you look even as a rival? Are you a little bit, not fearful is probably the right word, but a little bit, I can see United actually turning things around now, or where's your head at with what United are doing?
Well, I watched the game against Brighton, and if I'm being honest, it pains me to say I think they look really good. Going forward, especially Cunha getting that goal as well. He's been waiting for that. What a finish from Cunha. And Buemo's just going from strength to strength. So I think, they might be turning the corner. I'm not going to say definitely they're turning the corner, but the way it looks right now, you've gone away to Anfield and you've got a win. You've then gone ahead and beaten an informed Brighton team. So right now, I think as a Man United saying, from where you are, you've got to be positive right now and be cautious at the same time. But I think you might be turning the corner, and being that you're not in no European football, you're out of the Carabao Cup. It's 1 game a week now, I think up until January now, until the FA Cup starts. So if you can just focus, get the game plan right, try and get a starting 11 that you playing week in, week out. I think Casemiro looked decent. Yeah, it's looking promising for United, but don't get carried away, I would say. That's what I think on United.
I'll be honest, I think it's actually just quite simple. I don't think United have played all that horrendously for large parts of the season. I think that what's happened in the last couple of weeks is the goals have gone in, where in the past they hadn't. And once goals go in, confidence goes up. And United are now playing with a bit of... I mean, the goals against Brighton, they're well taken for the most part. But there's also a little bit of luck around some of them. But that's what happens when your confidence is up and when your luck's in. And United need to ride that wave like they are doing. I don't think Amarim's done some major tactical thing to like unlock everything. I still think that the old ways of hating United are probably still there for the most part. But now, when United are going on the attack, you're now sitting there going, oh, they can hate us now. Because even at the start of the season, I thought Man United played really well against Arsenal. They had 20 shots and didn't score. If they played that game now, they probably scored 2. Just because the players have a little bit of confidence about them and the chances that they miss that day may well go in. It's a quite simple game, football, and that is just one of the big... They spent how much on forwards, on Mbeumo, Cunha and Sesko to fix the problem. And now Cunha's got his first goal, and Mbeumo's scored in back-to-back games, and those goals are proven decisive in getting the wins.
See, I could be really...
Sorry.
Go on. You go first, mate. Go on.
I was going to say that. I think that's one of the big things we have to take away from, especially the last 2 games. I think obviously Sesko didn't play against Liverpool, but for me, being in the stadium on Saturday, watching the cohesiveness of that front three, it looked like it finally was clicking. Like it was amazing to see all 3 of them, and then you add Ahmad into that, and it's such a shame Cunha doesn't have an Ahmad on his side. He's got to deal with Delo or Dorgu, because I feel like if you had that 5th attacker that could really help him on that side, I think we'd be scoring more goals. I think Tom's right what he's saying. I think we have played well in patches. There's been certain games, Brentford and I think Fulham, we were absolutely dire, and I think we have improved in certain elements, and I think the manager getting the team right, because I think I was the worst. I slagged him off for the Liverpool team. I thought we're going to get packed in here. I fell into the trap of believing we were going to get packed in, and then you hear the players afterwards and the tactic of why they didn't play Sesko. It's obviously worked a little bit, but the fact is he's willing to adapt, because all ends up people thought Mount would have started 100% on Saturday, and he didn't. He brought Sesko back in, and Euro coming back in helped us massively get further up the pitch when we had the ball and when we didn't have the ball as well. And I think the press looked so much better on Saturday. But being so quick off the tracks, and Brighton, we struggle so much with Brighton at home and away, especially at home. I can't remember Brighton coming to United and looking so ordinary than what we made them. And I think we made them look ordinary. I don't think it was a case of them not playing that well. I don't think we allowed them to play. And I was really impressed with everyone, and the manager included, but the players, it's hard to say they're finally getting it, because it shouldn't take 11 months to finally get something. Do you know what I mean? But I think the fact that we have...
Onana leaving and your new goalkeeper as well, I think that's massive for you.
He's massively helping.
Yeah,
it's recruitment, man.
See, for me as well, at the start of the season when we played Man United, after the game, I sat there and said, that is a huge 3 points for us, because I see how you played. And winning at your ground is not easy for anyone. Now, I feel like everyone was so concentrating on bantering Arsenal for not being the better team in that match. They didn't see how good Man United were in that match. They were trying to more say we were crap, but it wasn't. I don't think it was that we were that bad in that game. I think Man United actually really performed well in that match, and people kind of blinding themselves to that. This season, Man United have only lost that 1 game at home. Every other game you've won, and I would say you've won pretty comfortably most games at home this season, to be honest. The goals are going in. The signings you made, this is why I think you are turning the corner, because everyone will look at the signings you made and say they're all quality signings. Mbeumo, Cunha. They'll say all these signings are top Premier League.
Just pulled your internet cable out. Pull the plug out. Let's see if he comes back. But look, I get where Giuseppe was going with what he was saying there, and I think that I could be really shameless based on what you said, Tom, and do the whole. I told you guys we had the chances. As soon as we started scoring them, we start winning more games. I don't think it's as simple as that, though. There is that element to it, but the manager has done a few things. He was always trying to make the centre back step out of the one of the centre-backs step out of the back three and into the middle so the numbers are more made up. Luke Shaw's doing it more regularly. De Ligt's been doing it brilliantly. Still feel when Lisandro Martinez comes back, we could see another level of that because he's so comfortable in there. But something he's added to the game, and Michael Carrick broke this down. I kind of noticed it in the football match, but maybe not necessarily in the way that an ex-player and coach would. And Michael Carrick broke down how what Cunha was doing was coming back into the midfield and helping out more defensively. And there was a few tackles that he put in at the weekend where Dalot's getting attacked, especially with Minter in his pace, but he was just there. He was that extra body. So there have been some subtle adaptations to players in the attack dropping into midfield or defenders stepping into the midfield to ensure we're not being overran. And I don't want to ignore those points because we were very hard on Amorim as fans about making adjustments. And he's done that. And he's done a good job because the media today went with headlines that we're winning because he's gone to a back four and he's changed his formation. Where he hasn't gone to a back four, there are times in the game. I was actually looking at it. I went through it and worked it out. So we play with a 3, but there are times where the fullbacks will drop back. So therefore we've got a 5. But there are also times where that 5 will be there, and then the centre back steps into midfield. So suddenly you are playing with a 4. There are times where you've got 4 in midfield when your wing backs are further up. But actually, if the centre back then steps up, you've got 5 in midfield, or you might then get an attacker that drops into midfield, so you've got 5. It's fluid in that way, and that's one thing I've always agreed with Amorim on. But he had to get results. Is the starting formation? I never believed it's as important as people make out, because you typically change your shape in and out of possession. Most teams have always done that, whether you go back to the 4-4-2 days. Right through to now, shapes change depending on in or out of possession, home or away, and the team that you're playing, plus the game state. All teams have done it at all times. Even under Sir Alex, when we played 4-4-2, the amount of times in games, already 1-0 up, 2-0 up, right, out of possession, we drop into a 4-5-1. We absorb that pressure. We get the ball, bang, we go on the counter attack, but we make it harder for teams to play through us. They're going to have to attack. They'll leave more space. This has always existed, and I like how we're getting better results. But we can't ignore what you said, Tom, Double A, everyone, that Lemaines has come in and made us calmer at the back. He's done a brilliant job. You could tell some people are annoyed by it because the way they're actually having to go at him for the corner that we conceded at the weekend. I'm just thinking that was Xerxes being asleep and a guy about a foot shorter than him scoring. I couldn't quite believe they were trying to blame him. But the attackers are now starting to click. And last season, one of our biggest issues was conversion rate, scoring chances. And the first 3 or 4 league matches, we just weren't quite delivering still. The only part of the weekend I was annoyed with was Gary Neville and the way he praised Mbeumo and praised Cunha, but then acted like Sesko is not part of that front three, like he hasn't been linking the play well, like he hasn't scored and assisted in every single one of the games he started this season as a striker. And yeah, the only thing we didn't do for him at the weekend, Sesko, is really create him a good chance to score. We didn't put him through one-on-one, no cutback opportunities. But I've been loving. Maybe it's because again we're starving at United. But some of the touches when he's being closed down, the room that he makes, and the way he's been able to play in the other attackers, he's really sharp in that regard. And I think there's a real player in there. And the excitement is this: that you start looking again. Oh, you had like Whartons and Believers into the midfield. What could we be? And that's exciting to do. But at the same time, I'm in the same camp as Double A. I think United and United fans should be pushing the message of very proud, very happy, but keep working hard, guys. Don't get complacent. Don't get bloated. Keep working your backsides off. So I just want to be absolutely in the middle with this. And I don't think we've turned a corner yet. I believe that we're, if you're looking at it from the perspective of a fire, right now, the kindling is crackling. The flame is there. It could engulf. It could become a fire where you go, right, we can cook on that now. That'll keep us warm for the night. But easily, there could be a gust of wind and it could blow out. And we're in that vulnerable state. So we've just got to nurture it and protect it. And I think as fans, we can help our club here by not being too dramatic, not going over the top, not allowing any overconfidence to seep into that dressing room as best we can. Get through the next couple of games. We're away to Forest, where we lost last year, playing Spurs, who beat us 4 times in all comps last season. Then we have Everton. Yeah, Sean Dyche has gone in now. There's going to be a difference. Get through those next 3 games. Listen, if we were to win all 3 of them, it would be out of this world. I'm not even expecting 3 wins in all those games at this point. To win 6 on the bounce. I mean, if you actually look over the last 3 or 4 seasons, only the champions and Arsenal have ever won 6 or more games in a row. Like, so demanding that straight away when you actually think about it, it's a little illogical. So I look at it this way. Let's see where we are after those games. If we were to win them, if we are continuing to play well, then maybe the conversation changes slightly. Then you're going into December and you're thinking, right, we're a month away from January. What could we add to this team? And could we really have a push for a European place? But overall, I'm just proud of the wins. I'm proud of the goals. Really happy with Mbeumo and Cunha. They feel like real Man United players to me. And Double A, you're at the ground, so you're there with people on the ground. Did you get that sense in the stadium that they're looked at as real United players?
Oh, absolutely. Like I was gonna say, I said it yesterday as well. Like the stadium on Saturday was one of the best atmospheres I can remember for a very, very long time. It was like, do you remember you go to Old Trafford and you're just an expectance that United were going to win? I've not felt that for a very, very long time. And I've gone through a sort of a time of having to wait until I see the starting lineup before I can even judge what United are going to turn up. Never mind if we can even win a game. So when I saw the lineup, my only issue would be Delo, but I think I can understand why Delo's playing. But I was very confident of going into the game and winning the game and not even having to see who Brighton were playing. So Mbeumo especially is already a fan favourite in the ground. I think they absolutely love him. I'm surprised he's not already really got a chant for the, you know, how easily United fans like to give chants out to players and managers. So surprised he's not got a chant yet. But I think the big thing for me, Terry, and I think rather than celebrating the wins, what I'm really celebrating is that the team are actually putting in the effort.
Yeah.
Like, so like you're coming out of the ground knowing the players have given everything. And even when you lose those games, like, you know, a lot of United fans were happy after Arsenal because it looked like they turned the corner then. So it looked like the effort was there and we could have gone. And then obviously the next game, it was the draw against Fulham, I believe. And then, you know, we tailed off and we didn't look as good. So we was wondering why all that had gone out the window. But, you know, 3 games in a row, we've not done that. Like I said, I can't remember the last time we won 3 in a row. So to go and do that and for the effort to be there, playing, you know, the champions, playing teams that beat us at home and relegation teams who this manager seems to, newly promoted teams which this manager seems to like, you know, we're showing different ways of winning games against different levels of opposition. So even if we go and draw against Forest or we lose against Spurs, as long as it looks like we've tried and it's a close game and that we're still doing the things we've been doing to get us wins, the fans will be happy with that, and then we build on from that. But you know, I can't sit here again saying 3 wins in a row United are back because it's not.
Yeah, I think whatever team you lot go up against now, there's going to be a bit of fear there because with Cunha and then Mbeumo, add Fernandes into that, you're dangerous.
I hope so.
You're dangerous. I'm telling you, you're dangerous. So yeah, if it keeps clicking, we'll see. Like
we've got 5
games.
We've got 5 really dangerous players that when they're on the ball, they can hurt you. You know, you talk about that front 3, and then you got Ahmad and you got Bruno when he's allowed to get further up the pitch. Really dangerous players there. So if they can continue to do the goods for us, you know, like to be where we are after 9 games, I think a lot of United fans are quite happy with that because I don't think we expected.
It's crazy because I was saying it before we played Crystal Palace. I was saying Man United are 3 points behind us. What's going on here?
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it, but yeah, that's how it's still early on in the season. So
yeah,
give it a few more games. I'm waiting until the halfway point of the season to see where everyone's at. But yeah.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Viewers, let us know your thoughts. Let us know your opinions in the comment section below, please, people. Like, share, and subscribe. Next question we're going to go to, or we're going to speak to you about it. Okay, this is what we talk about. We're going to go on to Chelsea, actually. So I'm going to go to Lewis first on this. Fact or fiction? Enzo Maresca has been let down by Chelsea's recruitment. Being 9th is on the board, not the manager. Contextually, around this tweet from a Chelsea fan, essentially what he said in his thread is that the underperformance from the team sitting where they are in the league, although it's only 9 games, is because they just don't have the quality when the Palmers and a few of their centre-backs are missing, and they feel that's hurting them in these close games. What's your thoughts?
I think straight off the bat, I don't think you can blame everything on the board. I'm certainly not if I was a Chelsea fan, would I be happy with the board? No. You know, I think since Todd's been there, it's felt a little bit like Football Manager, a little bit like FIFA. In, you know, the amount of players that they were buying. I always really felt really bad for Potter. I know obviously since then he's had a really tough time as well, to be fair. But how a manager's supposed to come in and get in a starting 11 when you've got, how many players have they still got on loan currently? You've got Raheem Sterling, who is he still training with the academy lads? Still training with the under-21s. I think he's on something like 300 grand a week, isn't it? Something like that. 350. I think it's a little bit a mixture of both. You look at that squad, and it's a little bit unfair to say if a Cole Palmer is injured. Well, yeah, he's their best player. It's almost like saying, for us for City. Well, if Haaland was injured, well, yeah, if you're going to lose your best player, you are going to struggle. So I don't agree with that. I think if any team had a Cole Palmer, it was to go on and get injured, they would struggle. Did they reinforce in key areas? No, but at the same time, if you look at a manager like Maresca, seems to be very, very inconsistent. Has consistent spots early on in the season and towards obviously the back end of last season, but you manage the players that you've got. And at the end of the day, if you look at their academy, surely there's someone in there. Surely there's someone that they could, the amount of players that they've got on loan. So too many. There was too many. The amount of wingers that they had at one point, the amount of midfielders. Jackson up front. I said it, when they signed him, and was proven right. He was never going to be a 25, 30 goal a season striker. So, is it completely on the board? I think early on it was, but at the same time, you manage the players that you've got, and if you're a world-class manager, it's on you to find the solution. So, I would probably say fiction there. I don't think it's completely on the board now.
What are you saying, Giuseppe? And by the way, I saw your private chat. We did say when you froze, he thought us pulled the lead out. He did.
Don't let me near my life support machine.
What do you make of the Chelsea situation? Because there was
I make sorry, mate. Finish.
No. Just in terms of, is this on the manager not getting the best out of these players? There are some Chelsea fans saying they actually think their recruitment, looking at it now, 9 games into the season, hasn't been good enough. What are you saying, Giuseppe?
Yeah, for me, I think it's a little bit of both. I think that obviously if the board invested money in ready-made ballers now, like if they had gone and signed in Buemo, Cunha and stuff like that, maybe it would have been different, yes. But at the same time, Chelsea fans, for one, can't moan because they were twerking for all the players they signed. João Pedro, all the Gittins, Garnacho, they even tried twerking for when they got rid of Madueke. Stuff like this, so I think they've got enough. Like to say they should be 9 is doesn't make sense because they've only added to the quality they had last season, and last season they got Champions League. So I think it is on the manager. At the end of the day, they've had Enzo fit most of the season. They've had Caicedo, they've had Lavia back. All right, cool. They're missing Palmer. But everyone's been missing players. Arsenal have missed Saka for a few games this season. City have missed Rodri for a few games this season. No, all the teams are missing big players. You know what I mean? So I just feel like McAllister's been missing all season for Liverpool. You know,
you can add our whole list. Salah's been missing.
But no, but for me, I just think there's too many decisions that Maresca has made this season that don't make sense for it to be fully on the board. Yes, I think can say about the board not signing ready-made stars now and going for the young approach. But they won the Club World Cup. They won the Club World Cup, and according to them, they're the best in the world. They won the World Cup. So if you're winning them trophies, you can't then use the excuse of recruitment when you're not doing good in the league. You can't sit there and say we the champions of the world, and then at the same time going 2 injuries have now folded us. The defense, I get they've got a few injuries in the defense, but at the same time, Maresca must have a say in some of these signings as well. I can't believe that he has no say in the signings. Maybe he don't. We don't know that for sure. But I just think that Maresca's it's his second season, and I've always said second seasons are when you see what managers are really about. I always think a manager can have a really good first season just off of spontaneousness, off of people not really knowing their style, the way they play, a bit of like the beginner's luck almost. So this season's when we're going to see, and I think he's made multiple incorrect decisions, starting 11 substitutes, how he's going at games this season, to say that it's his fault as much as anyone's. I think they've had players underperforming as well. But yeah, once again, it all goes back to the fact that Chelsea fans pick and choose when the signings are good and signings ain't good, because they were all tweaking.
Rob says here that we all like to listen to Don and all the others tell us how good their team and squad is, so no excuses for not. Do you think sometimes that this is why people end up? I throw this to Tom because I saw your reaction to that. Do you think I'm not putting this on Don because I haven't heard Don's opinion on this yet, because whenever they lose, I don't ever see him till the following weekend when he does trade facts on the Friday. He doesn't jump on the stream, doesn't jump on a match reaction. He's too busy making content elsewhere. But we'll wait to see what he says on Friday. But do you think that sometimes fans will turn on their manager? Will turn on the manager because that's easier than saying maybe I was wrong about these 2 or 3 signings, these 2 or 3 players. Maybe I bigged them up a little bit too much, and it's easier to say the manager's getting it wrong then it maybe is to be a little more balanced and go, the manager's made these mistakes, but these 2, 3, 4 players shouldn't have been bought, or this player is nowhere near where he should be. You're already going through it right now with Wirtz and Kerkez and Mo Salah. Their form can't just be because the midfield's a little bit vacated. So how do you see this with Chelsea, who, by the way, look, they're 9th in the league. Their home form this season, a Chelsea fan just sent me through this link saying, Terry, can you call this out? 15th for home form. Yes, we're only 5 home games into the season, so still a very small sample size. But we've played 5 home games to 1-2, drawn 1 and lost 2. Isn't good enough for a team that have spent what they've got, the talented players they bought, who are world champions. They should be expecting more than that, Tom.
No, it's just I remember in the summer, and I've maintained this the whole time. Chelsea fans have always wanted both to have their cake and eat it. You'll sit there and say, this squad, you've just won the Club World Cup, so I should be expecting big things this season. No, you can't expect that because we're a young squad. We've not bought the star players. That's fine. Okay. So I reckon you'll finish 4th. Why are you saying that? We've just won the Club World Cup. You haven't done that. So you can't have it both ways. Do you want to know where Chelsea have gone wrong this year? Across the board. Across the board. I think the manager, I think the recruitment wasn't up to standard anyway. They've went into a 3rd season now with Robert Sanchez as number 1 goalkeeper. That can't run. Injuries happen. They were going to get injuries eventually because they have a lot of injury-prone players. I don't wish injuries upon anyone, but that is the logic of it. If your starting centre-back is Wesley Fofana, do not expect 38 games out of Wesley Fofana in a season. The thing they probably should have done was buy someone after Levi Colwill went down, but they trusted that young Achimpong, and he's actually been quite good. So I can't even really have a go at them over that. I then look at the manager. You do have tools there. You spent 40 million quid on Jarell Hatter in the summer, one of the best young left-back, centre-back hybrids, and yet you seem to refuse to play him. So I can't necessarily have the sympathy if you have the tool but don't use it. If you use Jarell Hatter and he looked crap, he looked out of his depth, then I'd sit there and go, you know what, he has been on out to dry because the guy they bought in, aren't they? I can't say that because I haven't seen the guy, but he played 20 minutes against, doesn't look sound. And then I look further forwards. Some of the selection decisions I don't think are smart. So the play style I don't think is conducive. So it's not all
throw in the hole on the weekend. Am I right in thinking that?
He seems to like to move players around everywhere and hope that it causes all these problems. But the thing that I think is falling apart for them now is teams are sitting there going, you can do all this movement around in front of us. We're just going to hold our line. I don't think Sunderland's back 5 jumped out to Chelsea's midfield at any point. They invited Chelsea to break them down, and Chelsea couldn't do that. Now, yes, Cole Palmer goes a long way to helping you break down opponents, but you got a 60 million quid right winger in Pedro Neto, a 40 million quid left winger in Garnacho, 35 million quid wonder kid of the year, whatever his name is, Estevan, 50 million quid Jamie Bino Gittins. That's 200 million quid. You're telling me you can't score, you can't break down a Sunderland defence that's full of fullbacks effectively. Now that I'm looking at it, I get that the ownership could have done more. If the ownership hadn't won the Club World Cup, maybe they would have done more. But the problem is Chelsea fans in the summer, after they won the Club World Cup, said that vindicates the project. So if you're saying that vindicates the project, the Club World Cup shows that the project is going great. That's what the project was about. Why would they change the project at that point? Why would they abandon the principles of the project at that point where you're all going? That's what it was all about. It's vindicated now. Everyone laughing at us 2 years ago. This is what it was about. So you can't have your cake and eat it. All of them have been wrong. Some of the players aren't good enough. The manager's made a lot of stupid decisions and doesn't trust some of the squad depth. And the ownership should have went for more ambition, but ultimately they haven't went for more ambition because of the noise around it.
I think what's interesting is we have some Chelsea fans that come on, David being one of them. You've got Quest who comes on, who they're not really angry, and they just feel that they are where they expected to be with the recruitment, with the squad, in the sense of whether people agree or disagree that they should be further along after what they've spent. They've gone, we're not going to be in title races. We are still a young squad. It's going to take a couple more years until we can maybe expect that. So they're kind of, I know that they're ninth, but one win and they're back in the top four. It's very small sample size. Their view is just, no, we're kind of where I expect us to be. And whether they should be angry with that or not, I think is a separate debate. The Chelsea fans I'm really interested opinions, and I'm going to go to Dan next on this, I'm really interested in, are the ones that sort of said, better than Arsenal, we're up there with Liverpool, we're superior to the other teams. Like, where's it gone so wrong? From the, if we just frame this from the people that really thought Chelsea were going to take this season by storm, what do you think's gone wrong for them so far?
I mean, we were sitting there a couple of weeks ago when they beat Liverpool, and we weren't talking like this. Do you understand? So I think it's a couple of games that have gone wrong, albeit they beat Ajax 5-1 in the Champions League midweek last week. So it wasn't bad then, but you lose at home to Sunderland. And I think sometimes we can jump the gun a bit. I still think Chelsea are going to be there or thereabouts, if you're asking me. I don't think you can look too much at Maresca at the moment. Like, because it's so early on in the season, I can't make my full assessment of Chelsea. I've been speaking about Chelsea this week, and I said to myself, are they going to be in the top four? I'm not too sure. They're too inconsistent. You don't know what Chelsea's turning up right now. You don't know what lineup's coming out right now. Yeah, their defense is not good enough. Even if you slip Fofana back into there, I still don't think the defense is good enough. Everyone's hailing up Reece James right now. He's just come back from injury. If he gets injured now, who are you bringing in there? Yeah, I'm just not too sure about Chelsea, but I'm not going to jump the gun and say, yeah, we're just going to write them off because they've lost to Sunderland at home. Because Sunderland, let's be honest, they've been good this season. They're not a pushover. This ain't your normal relegated side. This is a decent Sunderland team that turned up, had their game plan, sat back and caught Chelsea. That's what happened.
But do you think, bro, that what you just said about you don't know what Chelsea's turning up, do you think 4 years into their project, obviously Maresca hasn't been there the whole time, around almost 4 years into their project, the team they have, the quality of players they have, because although they have a few injuries, you still look at that starting 11 and it's still quite a decent starting 11 against Sunderland.
Yeah.
Shouldn't they be a bit more consistent? With the midfield, they got Sesko and Enzo.
Have you noticed that your children are always really quiet when you're quiet? The second you start talking, the noise...
Every time.
You're not going to get it. I've sat in my house where my kid's been quiet for an hour and it's nice. I'm going to send a voice note. I start talking. It's like, what are you doing? Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, so for me, I think that is on the manager as well. The inconsistency to keep like a standard. Okay, the odd game you can have a bad game or you can have a bad little period, but when you don't know what team's coming week on week, 1 week it's like this, 1 week it's like that, 1 week it's like this, 1 week it's like that, I think that is on the manager.
No,
I just don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's good enough, the manager. To be honest,
yeah, there's question marks all over Maresca, if we're being honest, but it's a man that's just come off of winning, albeit I don't rate the Club World Cup. He's won the Club World Cup. He was in the Conference League, once again another cup. He got over the line there, so he has got a little bit of credit in the bank, Maresca, if we're being honest. Just a little bit. Come on. He's got a little bit of credit in the bank, Maresca.
Yeah, but is it though? Because Chelsea fans are quick to throw that in your face that they're world champions and all this. But when they actually deep it and look at it, it's two competitions. The Club World Cup is nothing, and the Conference League is nothing. It's not true. They'll only brag about it because of the first team to win everything, and that's what they'll throw at you. But when you look at it, to sit at ninth after all the money they've spent and all the players they have, you can't look at it and think the manager's done a good job because he clearly hasn't. Because I remember last season when they started to look like they were in a title race, and they were so quick to say, "No way, no chance." And then they go and win stuff, and again, it's like, yeah, look how good we are. You can't. I don't think you can have it both ways as a Chelsea fan. You can't spend all this money and expect to just be an also rank. It's not because United get it all the time. We spent $1 billion like since Fergie left, and look where we are. They spent that in the least amount of time. They should, by all means, be in title races and looking for the big competitions. I'm sorry, I can't have this team that lord it over everyone about how consistent they've won things, how they've done everything, to then just start to say, oh yeah, but it's injuries, and they've been mismanaged because they've still not replaced Thiago Silva for me. And like you say, you're talking about they've not gone and got a good goalkeeper. The defense is shocking. I think the manager doesn't know what he's doing most of the time. For me, I mean, I laugh at it because it helps us, but to spend 40 million on Garnacho is a joke, to be honest with you, because he's absolutely terrible, and he's just not what you need. He's not what they've needed, and I don't know why they bought him. Well, it's funny for us because I'm happy with the 40 million, but Chelsea fans really need to start to look where the real problem is, and I think the manager is a massive problem for them, and I think if they got in someone a better coach, a better manager. Because we have the same thing with Manchester United. If we brought in a better coach or a manager, would he get a lot more out of the team that we have? A lot of United fans think they would. I think the same has to be said for Chelsea. I think if they brought in someone a bit better, a bit more experienced, a bit more of a proven winner where it matters in the big competitions, league winners, Champions League winners, I think they get a lot more out of this team that they've got there, and they should do with the money they've spent.
But this comment here, the centre-backs you got fit. Levi Colwell's been injured all season. That was a bit of a shock. But apparently Acheampong's coming in. Acheampong's been very good. So, yes, you could have done with buying one, but the guy who's come in and replaced him has actually been to a very high standard. So I don't think you can be angry at that. Wesley Fofana, he's always going to be injured. I can't think of the longest run of games he's given you since you signed him for 80 million. I don't know why it's a shock. Chalobah hasn't been injured this season. He's just got suspended, which is another problem that I think needs to be looked at within Chelsea, the discipline problem. It's all fun and games, laughing about we're going to break the record for how many games we can get a red card in a row.
But even with him, Tom, because they shipped him off to Palace, he wasn't good enough for him. And then because they were struggling, they brought him back, and now he's the best centre-back they've got. They don't know what they're doing because he's not. For me, he's not a starting centre-back for a top six club.
The last game, in terms of centre-backs they had available, was Acheampong, Chalobah, Tosin, and Wesley Fofana and Jarell Hato. That's 5 centre-backs.
And not one of them screams out to me, you're a top defender. Not one of them.
Not one of them does, but the comment is...
does any of the Sunderland centre-backs scream out to you, they're top defender?
Once again, the Sunderland ones, Nordi Mukiele, Dan Ballard, and Gyokeres.
This is what I'm saying. So, listen, at the end of the day, I think Chelsea fans, they've put the rope around their own neck because they're the ones that sit and say Cucurella is the best left back in the league. Reece James is the best right back in the league. I tried to do a debate about Reece James or Timber and they laughed at me and get out of here. So, them centre-backs that played against Sunderland as well were good enough to win that game and good enough to keep a clean sheet in that game, in my opinion. And we've got Sesko in front of them as well. Yeah, they're definitely enough.
For me, I look around the Chelsea team with the money that they spent. I look around that Chelsea thing and I'm racking my brain right now to think, right, that's a top class player. After Caicedo and Palmer, who are we really talking about after that? That's really top draw. Yeah, the money has been spent badly, in my opinion. It's been spent badly on substandard players. And we go back to Garnacho, yeah? What are you doing? If that's got Maresca's name on it, that's a sackable offense right there. You don't go ahead and do that. That is crazy stuff. I couldn't believe when I saw that signing. So, yeah, the money has been mismanaged big time over there.
They sold back away and signed 2 worse swingers.
David's joined us.
David's the signings there, though.
So David's joined us. David is obviously a Chelsea fan. But I didn't know you were coming on the show today, David. You all right, mate?
No, again, I'm at work. I can't respond to messages. We're in an important time. If you know what I do, it's very crucial.
Can I tell people what you do? Because I know that you're It's not. Because he doesn't love being flash. David, he's been coming on our show since he was literally 17, 18-year-old. I'm not going to say which team, but he builds Formula One cars. He's an engineer and works for Formula One. He's got a very, very, very good and important job. So, yeah, that's why he asked me for a job once, and I told him no. I said, I'm not going to hold you back.
That was a mad time. That was a mad time.
Listen, trust me, you'll never earn here what you could earn in that world. I'm not holding you back, son. Go spread your wings. It's the best bit of recruitment I ever did. So yeah, anyway, mate. Sorry, go on.
I'm just here to say, we lose one game, and suddenly it's the end of the world. Every signing is terrible. The manager's a problem. Centre this, goalkeeper that, left wing this, and I hear it every time we lose a game. People just want to pile onto us as much as they can.
Are they not issues, though, David? Are they not issues?
No. They are issues, and we all know they're issues. But again, we're sat here saying that we need to get rid of the manager because goalkeeper, centre back, left wing, like I'm confused as to why it's always Chelsea lose a game and suddenly they have to completely rejig everything they've been doing. I'm baffled because to me, Chelsea can lose a game, and I know we lost a game, and I said it on the stream when we lost. I said it's a bad loss. It shouldn't happen, but in football, these things do happen. We have to keep a level of perspective. If we're 19 games in and I'm sat in 8th, I'm more willing to hear this conversation. But we are 3 points away from being in the top 4. That's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world.
I think that's surface level, though, because we're looking at the problems. That's
we're
very surface level.
We're 1 point behind. 1 point behind Liverpool, and yeah, okay, fine. Liverpool are bad, but they're still a good team. It's the end of the world. Like, do you know,
we're no benchmark this season, mate.
Yeah,
we're no benchmark.
We're not be us. We're the worst team to compare yourself to. Then,
but Tom, are you sat here saying, "Oh, we've lost 5 games in a row. Our season's over. We need to sack Slot. We need to get rid of all these players that are massive issues"?
I'm not saying that, but people are.
Yeah, some fans are.
Yeah, and would you call those people stupid?
Some to the face, some not so. Yeah.
Not the bigger boys. Not the bigger boys. Not the bigger boys.
Yeah, not the big lads.
And this is my point. A couple games ago, City were like in 10th position, but it wasn't all. Oh, City are finished. They need to. This is my point. I think there just needs to be a level perspective. I do agree. The centre backs are a massive issue. The goalkeeper, if I speak about the goal, the only reason I believe we've not signed a goalkeeper is because we believe we've got a world-class goalkeeper playing at Strasbourg. That is the only reason. If Mike Penders is not our goalkeeper next season, there is mad smoke. We have our main striker who we brought in to play for us has been injured for most of the season, and we're rocking Mark Guillou up front, who was at Sunderland. And ironically, if we had just left him at Sunderland, we probably would have at least got a point out of the game yesterday. I mean, on Saturday.
That looks like a bit of a masterclass.
You know what I mean?
In the end. It's really
David, do you think it's also like you look at the games you've won this season and you haven't really beaten anyone good? Like you beat Liverpool, but they've been trash in that time. You beat them,
not an achievement. Not an achievement this season.
Like you beat Nottingham Forest, who have been absolutely abysmal. You beat West Ham, who've been absolutely abysmal, and you beat Fulham, that haven't been that great at home. So the games you have won are pretty, like you must win them games, otherwise you're in relegation. Like you're in the relegation zone. Every time you've come up against a half decent team, you've not got the 3 points, and I think that's maybe why.
Liverpool are not a half. Liverpool are not a half.
No,
team.
Right, cool. Liverpool are, but you did get them. I will say you got them at a really good time to get them. Right.
So again, like what are we doing here? Are they a good team or are they not a good team? Pick it.
I don't think they're a good team. I don't think currently
they're a good team. They're a good team in terrible form. I mean, United went to Anfield and won when no one expected us to. So they are beatable this season, Liverpool, and you did your job against them. But he's right what he's saying. You've not looked convincing this season.
I'm not taking no credit away for Chelsea beating Liverpool that day, in form or not. That was a massive win. We wasn't speaking like this about Chelsea then. I tell you that much. No one was saying nothing.
Oh, the Arsenal fan buzzing at Liverpool are losing. What a surprise!
And it was a last minute. Yeah, fair enough. Like the game was good, last minute winner and that. But this one, once again, it weren't. Even Man United were more convincing against beating Liverpool than you guys were. This is why I think people are more like maybe getting onto Chelsea because you're 4 years into your project, mate.
No, we're not.
This super chat here says Maresca cost us at least 6 points with substitutions. Look, I know the red cards. The one thing I will like the sort of, but we only lost 2 of our games. We lost. We went down to 10 men. Yeah, because you got opened up. I don't think that's a defense for Chelsea. If that makes the only reason I lost that fight at the weekend is because I got knocked out. I mean, it's what happens. It's what happens when you're not defending yourself very well. We come here for you. We come here for you because you keep reminding us you're champions of the world.
Also, right. I do need this addressing. We are champions of the world, and we will be for the next 4 years. Unfortunately, you guys are gonna have to deal with that. Hold it. The reason why I think it's funny that people bring up the World Championship and the Conference League is, again, the Conference League, I will agree, is nothing. I fully agree. Shouldn't be even in that competition, whatever. The Club World Cup, to me, is different because when everyone was talking about, oh, my God, look at the Brazilian teams, they're balling, and, oh, you're playing PSG in the final, there's no way, and we beat them, you kind of have to give us some credit. And they are cup competitions. This is not a league format. League formats, I've always, I think most honest Chelsea fans who aren't, doing it for clicks or using their brain would sit there and tell you we have, because of the makeup of our squad, we are way too up and down to be competing consistently at leagues. That's why I never put us in title races, personally. But cup competition, I think we can beat anyone. I genuinely believe that. I think we can beat anyone. And Maresca has shown that he is good in those one-off games. So I'm just saying. If we win an FA Cup,
I hear that.
If we win a Carabao, don't be shocked.
I think just a mixture. I just think the whole thing's a bit of a mixture. I think Maresca has made
2 billion quid spent to be a cup team.
I just feel, my honest opinion, I know sometimes I've got to be a host and ask questions. My honest view when it comes to Chelsea is that depending on, if I'm talking about Chelsea fans' opinions for a moment, depending on their starting position at the beginning of the campaign, I think that impacts their reactions and their analysis. For instance, anyone that went down the road of this squad's better than Arsenal, this is one of the best squads in Europe, everything seems to be the manager they're having a go at. People that were more like yourself, David, and more like Quest, where it was a case of we kind of are where we're meant to be at this stage with the age, you're a little bit more balanced where, game by game, it'll be the manager made bad subs here, that really hurt us, or that player stupidly got sent off, that hurt us. Oh, he missed those chances, that hurt us. These guys were good today. I'm intrigued by the sort of the difference in the analysis, but I think a lot of it is to do with people's their starting position, as opposed to reviewing what's really going on sometimes. And I always find that really, really intriguing. Is winning a tournament where your team values 5 times the next closest and achieve? Well, Jonathan, he just said that the Conference League isn't really that big of an achievement. So fair play. This here says that when 3 or more players are underperforming, you look at the manager and his tactics, but then you have to see whether he was given the right resources for you to look at the football director and the board. This also applies to Liverpool. Yeah. I just don't go to that default ever of just, well, it must be the manager because the whole team's playing badly. Sometimes 1 or 2 bad performing players can make the whole team look worse. Had Konate played the whole season like he did against United, because he was quite good, and had Liverpool's attackers converted 5% more of their chances, they'd probably still be top. So things can change that easily. And I think sometimes it's just very quick and easy to go blame the manager. And I do think content creation plays not everybody, but a part. Because for a lot of content creators, they know that what is cash money is going manager out. Everyone knows it's like such a big thing because it creates such dichotomy as well. So you had all those different types of people. It's a big noise around it. Good afternoon, gents from Alberta, Canada. Go Man United. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you for watching. This here says, I hate when clubs waste players' careers. If Chelsea finish outside the top 6, Palmer should request a transfer. Why did we think João Pedro would be good? He's just Jackson with a better first touch. I will say about João Pedro, no shots in 7 games.
That's crazy.
No shots.
No shots.
Sounds like a United striker, that.
What sort of strike is that?
No shots in 7. Man sounds like he's sounds like he's off the liquor. Do you know what I mean? He's been dry for 7 games, no shots.
You'd think that you would just pop a couple shots from range, like just to get the just so you've had some shots. Like, do you know what I mean? So this thing don't exist.
That's
not
crazy.
good enough. I hooked him out of my dream team last week. Get out. Not good enough.
By the way, I need to call out everyone who's in the Football Terrace Fantasy Football League. I haven't updated my team or even logged into it once all season since I picked my team. I'm sitting 13th out of, I don't know, 50 or 60 people, but I'm only about 90 points off top. And you bums are in the GC. I'm changing this. I'm doing this substitution. How can I only be 100 points off top when I've had João Pedro in my team this whole time and I'm still ahead of most of you? Fuck me. The football knowledge is mad bad. I'll tell you that. But in fairness, I did captain Haaland, which has helped. And Reyes in goal, which has helped. So in fairness, those two have been getting me points. Moving on from Chelsea, which I'm sure David's happy about. Let's go to the next question here. Ooh, okay. We'll do this one now. I'm going to throw this one to Giuseppe to begin with. Fact or fiction, Arsenal are now the clear favourites for the Premier League title. They look nearly unstoppable right now.
Oh, the wording for that's a bit funny. I'd say we're favourites now. I will say we're favourites now. Clear favourites, like clear favourites, maybe not. I think we're just about favourites now. Do I think we're unstoppable? I mean, no one's unstoppable, but I will say we're damn near close at the moment defensively. It's just the only thing is stopping us, like scoring is probably easier than obviously scoring against us. But I do think we're now favourites, purely for the fact that pressure hasn't seemed to affect this team this season. And I know people say it's early, and that is true. There's still a long way to go. A lot of things can change. I know this. But the fact that we were 5 points off Liverpool and we didn't crack under pressure on games that we should, like people would have thought we will crack under, the Newcastle game, all the because we've had quite a few banana skin games as well for us. I think we're like 9 points better off already than we were at these same games last season. And that's with losing to Liverpool this time and drawing with City this time. But I would say we're favourites to the league. I just feel like when you say clear favourites, I don't know. I feel like that wording is just like,
let's have a conversation about that. The person who tweeted this, I don't know what he or she thinks in that. Just so we can kind of maybe find some common ground here before answering it further. What do we all consider clear favourites to mean? Like if you were to describe what
for me, clear favourites mean we are heads and tails above everyone else. Like we're miles better than everyone else. The way City were a few seasons back when no one was getting near them and they were winning the league by like 10, 15 points or whatever it was. That's clear favourites to me. You can't be clear favourites unless I don't believe you can be clear favourites unless you've won a league recently anyway.
If Arsenal don't win the league from this position, I'd be very, very shocked. And that to me is clear favourites. They're the only team that has shown a level of consistency. And they're the only team that no matter what seems to affect them, they seem to always win. And they've got a lot of things going against them. That guy up front, Jesus. That guy, he is causing issues, but they're still winning games. The set pieces that I'm seeing, I am someone who sat there, and I'm very much, I think goals and set piece goals are very different things. I'm one of those people. I think they both count, obviously both goals, but they're very different. I've now got to the stage where I put my hands up and I say, Arsenal scoring a goal pretty much every game. It's a state because they're just starting. Every 2 games you play is starting 1-0 up, and they don't concede goals. They've got a fridge up front. they're still winning. They have to bring on Martinelli, and they're still winning. They have to bring on Madueke, and they're still winning. Marino still winning. They've got players who are very questionable level of talent, and they're still winning games. And the thing is, no one looks like it's not like teams are missing chances. They actually just don't get them. They remind me a lot.
I'll throw a fact out there for you. Just want to throw this out there. They've only conceded 5 big chances all season. To put some perspective on that, City, I think, have conceded 18. Liverpool have conceded 28 big chances in games. Arsenal have conceded just 5 chances where it's considered easier to score than not. And only one, Haaland, only one of them, and the Voldemar header have been scored. So they've only conceded 2 of those big chances. They've conceded not 1 goal from open play because Haaland's goal is a counter-attack. It's not an open play goal. They've conceded from 1 set piece and 2 set pieces. Yes. Again, statistically, we're going to keep it up 100. Statistically speaking, so when you see Arsenal's goals on like 5 open play, that's also because the counter-attack goal they scored doesn't count as open play. So that's why it's 5. So if you're going to only have them on 5 open play goals because one's a counter-attack, you can't.
I never knew that. Counter-attacks aren't classed as open play.
No. So the way goals again, if you're talking stats, right? If you're talking stats, you get there's own goals, there's penalties, because penalties are not set pieces either. You get own goals, penalties, set pieces, counter-attack, open play. The one I don't know, I haven't asked. I don't know what if you score from a long throw is. I don't know if that's considered set piece or open play. It must be a set piece, but yeah. So there's
go check what Brentford got awarded against us.
Yeah,
you'll find out there.
Well, there's 3 goals. I'm not sure where they put them. They scored 3, but
the thing is, like,
so yeah, it's that's the categories of goals. So I saw City fans getting mad when Who Scored put out a tweet saying Arsenal are yet to concede from open play. We did. Now that's a counter-attack goal, which means it's not open play officially.
But what David said, like about like
that's all the shit that in the nicest possible way.
Our guy up front, and all that. The thing I will say, like, obviously he needs to do better. He needs to get goals in the league and stuff. But like, the problem is the games we've played, the last 3 Premier League games, mate, there hasn't really been a chance for him to score. Like, you can't show me 5 shots. You can't find me 5 chances this season in the league where Gyokeres, you'll say he should have scored there. You won't find them. Yeah. So at the end of the day,
what you're saying is he's not getting the service. But do we not start need to saying to him, make yourself some service?
But it's really hard when he's got like
get yourself to the self-service buffet.
It's really hard to make goals out of nothing when you play football like me. Like, it's really hard to do.
I've played football with David, and with Tom. We've played football with him.
I just look at it like every time he's there, there's like 7-8 players right in front of him. Yeah, even when he's running in behind, the balls ain't always great. And when he's got like 2 defenders on him or something like that, and he's not super quick. He ain't like you're gonna get him.
There was a moment where he got the ball on the weekend and he was basically through on goal. That defender caught him up so quickly.
Yeah, but that defender, no, but if you know FIFA, he's fast. Like, he's like, I'm not even going to cap.
We've got you now. He's defended a £70 million striker on the fact that he was quick on FIFA.
No. I'm just saying the way he caught up. The fact that he caught up is because he's a fast player. Van de Ven's fast.
Yeah, Leclerc's rapid. Leclerc is quick, to be fair.
Yeah, there is a bit of perspective. Giuseppe, do you still think that Gyokeres plays like Harry Kane?
Oh, there was no way you said that.
I turned that.
Plug the computer out again, quick.
I accepted that I was looking at too many compilation things and I got that wrong. Right, I already accepted that a long time ago.
Sorry, I need to know which comment maker made Victor Gyokeres look like Harry Kane.
No, but I wasn't saying he was on the level of Harry Kane at all. I just said that I felt like he could get involved and get other players involved and come back a bit and get other players involved, as well as being a poacher and being a guy that just gets goals and goals and goals. That's the sort of thing I was alluding to.
Harry Kane does that through like quality control of the football and line breaking passes. Victor Gyokeres does it by standing there and hitting them. And it ended up at someone's feet. And
regardless of all this, we will keep. He will start getting goals. I will put my neck out and say this guy will still finish the league on plus, not maybe the Premier League, all comps, plus 20.
Can I ask you another question?
I don't know about that. Because
I'm going to throw this question to Dan, right? Because I was going to make it one of the questions today, but I didn't. I see a lot of Arsenal fans online today quote tweeting a compilation of Sesko in the last couple of games. A lot of Gooners are online saying they've made a mistake, and that if you got Sesko, you'd be even better this season. What do you make of that?
I don't think Sesko's done enough as well for me to be making that statement, to be honest. For me, it's concerning about Gyokeres. I'll be honest with you. When he scored those 2 goals against Atletico Madrid, look at the 2 goals he scored. He scuffed the first one, and the other one just came off of him. So if that's going to people like Anton, I told you. No, I haven't seen enough from you, Gyokeres. The things that he is doing well, he's working hard. We're talking about entry-level stuff for a football. You're meant to work hard. If you're not, then what are you doing? Do you understand? And then they're saying he's in the right position. This is freeing up space for the wingers. This is what they're saying as well. But if this is what you're finding for your striker, there has to be question marks. I do not agree at this moment in time that we're going to see 20 goals plus from him in all competitions.
It's already on 5.
Happening. Say that again.
On 5. It's already on 5. And
he's on 5.
He's already on 5.
Doing 20 or
no,
he's already on.
Here's my thing as well.
He's already on 5. Sack is back on penalties now. From what I'm hearing, he's back on penalties. I cannot see it. And what's going to take his game time down as well is once Havertz comes back as well. He's not going to be getting these full 90 minutes.
I just think like with him. Listen, at the same time, I'm not saying he's been amazing. I'm not going to sit here and gaslight anyone. But I think that we expect a player to just come into a top team that's been performing like over the past few seasons at top level, and him to just be instantly just amazing. Sometimes it takes time for players to, but not only that, when I watch us play, our wingers, Saka, Martinelli, Trossard, they don't look for him the way you should look for a striker because they're not used to playing with a striker. I see it all the time. They're greedy. They'll always look to cut in, get their own shot off. They're not looking to get him the chances yet. We're not adapting to playing with that striker yet. When I'm watching it, I can see it.
I'll be nice here, Giuseppe. I'll be nice here, Giuseppe. Footballers aren't stupid. They train with him every day. If they were looking at it going, I need to get him the ball as often because he's bagging all these chances, they'd give him the ball. And I know that because my striker, my winger's done that with whoever they had up front. Yeah, so what you've done, Dan, in describing Gyokeres and the way Arsenal fans are treating him, you just described my 3-year experience of Núñez. He works really hard. He brings others into the game. He runs channels. He's a threat. But you know what? It's not quite clicked for him yet. It'll click eventually. No, it won't. That was what happened with me. It doesn't. And I could tell because the moment this season, or the moment last season, or the moment in any of the other seasons he was there, where Salah was playing with a different guy up front, the passes were going in quicker.
There's a huge difference.
The Núñez difference.
No, I'm sorry, because I don't like when people use the Núñez example. Núñez, we were watching Núñez game after game, missing edge chances. We were watching him game in, one-on-one, missing them. One-on-ones hitting the bar, one-on-ones hitting it wide. We haven't seen that from Gyokeres. That's my point. The problem we have right now is he's not getting the chances. That's a bit on him. That's a bit on the team. That's a bit.
Have you not seen some chances where he's in and around the box? He loses possession. There's a time where maybe he can cut in. He's not doing it. He's looking clunky. He's looking like he's got Timberlands on. I just don't know at this moment in time.
I hear you, and I get why you would like. I get why you're like on the fence about it. I hear it. My thing is half the time
Dan ain't on the fence. Dan ain't on the fence.
I'm on the fence.
Come to the good side, Dan. Come to the good side.
Most of the time, to be honest, most of the time I see him and you say he's got it in around the box. He's got probably like 5 players around him from their team because everyone is just got every player back all the time. We haven't been able to play games. Look, at the end of the day, I know you said the goals he got, the goals he got against Atletico Madrid, but he got the goals, he got the chances, and they went in. Two goals. One
of his 5 was a penalty. The fact that I can remember all 5 of his goals, 9, 13, 14 games in, is concerning. I can remember every single one of his goals. Yeah, his first goal was the only good goal that I say that he scored was against Leeds, where he's got the ball on the wing, he's cut inside. Even that looked clunky when he done it. He scored that goal. The other one was a penalty. The other one was an assist from Eze, tapping settings, and the other two that he's got, you saw them against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, but tapping settings is what we want from a striker. Like tapping settings is what you need. Listen,
I'm just saying.
I hear what you're saying. He's not glamorous to watch. You're saying he's clunky. I don't care if you're getting goals, how you look on the ball. Like he's not that player. He's not silky. He's not.
Giuseppe, we're 9 games into the Prem. He scored in 2 games. That's all I have to say. That, but also, Terry.
One of them was against Ange Postecoglou's Nottingham Forest, which now doesn't count.
Do you know what? Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing that I'll use to rebuttal that. I don't know about you personally, David, but everyone's the same people that are going, oh, but he's not really scored in games, are the same people going, they've only scored 5 open play chances. Everything else is from a set piece. So at the same time, yes, he hasn't scored, but we aren't scoring much.
So do you know what the problem that I've got? The only issue that I've got with what you're saying is, I think he's going to come good. You're not saying I don't know if he's going to come good, because that's where I'm at. I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying good. From what he showed me, I don't know if this guy's coming good. I hope he does.
We don't know. But me saying I think, I don't know. It's how I feel, how I think. I've seen. Do you know when I once again, as I've said, when I start watching him consistently missing chances that I'm like, this guy should be burying that, that's when I'm going to start getting really concerned and saying he might not do it. I just don't think he's getting a service right now. And I agree.
Who does that come back down?
You don't think that's the big issue, though?
The players that you're blaming for that.
Yes, but we are saying that is one of the issues of Arsenal this season is creating chances, creating like proper gilt-edged chances. That's been an issue.
And we've scored a lot of set pieces as well. You're right in that as well.
This is what I'm saying.
Does the manager have to look at that, Giuseppe? Because the narrative last season was Arsenal will get over the line if they got a proper number 9 in. You've gone and got a proper number 9 in. What a lot of people considered the best number 9 in Europe last season, and then you're not feeding him. So you have to look at the manager now then? Because why aren't you feeding the player?
You do have to look at the manager, but I also will look at that we've hardly had Odegaard this season, and I really think Odegaard is key.
No,
you can't.
No, but they're not. No, hold on. No. But Eze,
you got the best right winger in the league, apparently. So why?
But what I'm trying to say
on that point in the Newcastle game when Odegaard was playing, I let you finish. When Odegaard was playing, he did try and feed him in a couple of times. He was the only one that was trying to feed. I think they can build up a connection.
But the games that we have played, the last 3 Premier League games, for example, has not suited Eze being our 10. We've needed Odegaard in the 10 because these guys aren't doing anything, and you need an eye of a needle pass to break through them because they've got every man behind the ball and they ain't moving. We haven't conceded a shot on target against us in the last 3 games. They say we had one against Palace. That's cap. The shot that they've said was on target was the header thing when Eddie and Ketia and they both went for it, and Raya just got there first, right? These teams aren't even trying to attack us right now, the last 3 games. So we've needed Odegaard in there, because the one game where I will probably say he should have scored and he didn't was the Olympiacos game when Odegaard was playing and he was feeding him and giving him chances. And that's when I said that game was the one game I'll sit there and say he probably should have buried one of them.
Is there not still question marks over Odegaard as well with his form over the last 18 months? So it's all good and well saying let's get Odegaard back in to feed him. He might be throwing out stinkers still. We still don't know.
I just think the last 2 games that I saw of Odegaard, he was really getting back to what I was liking about him. So we don't know. Of course, he might come in and stink again. But I think the Newcastle cameo, the Olympiacos game, even at the start at West Ham, he was looking really good. He's just been very unlucky with the injuries he's had, and they've been all little like innocuous ones as well. They've not even been like.
Yeah. Guys, I'm going to jump to some of these super chats here and then we're going to get back to the actual question, which was around Arsenal being clear.
I need to answer that one, Terry, as well, please.
Yeah. This is, I can't remember him beating his man this year. Well, he did for the Leeds goal, as we pointed out. Let's just not count tap-ins and penalties, folks. They are not goals, is what Sage Wayne says here. Same fridge up front that won the best striker in the world is what Ike has got to say.
Wait, they still won that award?
Yeah.
I swear they gave us that award to give Lewandowski when he didn't win the Ballon d'Or.
He did score the most goals because his goals counted for 1.5 or what? No, like 0.5 compared to the rest of the goals or something. I can't remember. He did win.
Negative Gooners have exposed how reactionary they are with Gyokeres. They called us Arteta sexuals when we said Sesko would be a better fit. And they said we needed a goal scorer like Gyokeres. Now they're the ones slagging off Gyokeres. I'll be honest with you, that most of the Arteta outers I've seen differently, watching some of their content online, they're like really defending him because they can't go that way because they can't do they can never say that maybe Arteta was right. So they're sort of, it's quite beautiful to watch when he isn't having a good game or things aren't going right, watching them really, it's funny. The reason why I like watching the Arteta outers defend Gyokeres isn't, I actually think Gyokeres will still come good at Arsenal. I think he's a really good player. Yeah, there's some clunkiness about it, but I think he'll come good. What I like about watching Arteta outers defend him is they're often the same people that have been telling other Gooners for the past 5 years, 6 years, don't get attached to any player, don't defend any player. You're Arsenal fans, you're not fans of sort of employees. And now watching them defend certain players, I'm like, it's so funny watching things go full circle. It's hilarious. If we beat Brighton after 4 more additional injuries, I'll say yes, we are clear favourites. So to you, Dan, do you feel you're the clear favourites now, or do you still think that's a little too early?
Yeah, I'm not going to say clear favourites, but as it stands, especially with the results over the weekend, then I would say, yeah, we currently are favourites. I was at the game on Sunday. Not once was I sitting there feeling like we was going to concede a goal. You know what they say, that defence wins you titles. So how solid we're looking defensively right now is scary. I'll be honest with you. And set piece Olay, they keep saying, but if you give us the chance, if you want to foul our players, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to score a set piece. You touched on Arteta, right, Terry? I've been that guy. I've been there. At the moment, I'm not Arteta in right now. You called it. I'm on the fence right now. Yeah? You cannot be screaming. Anyone at home who's still out here screaming Arteta right now, high. You cannot be doing that right now in the position that we are. This is the most optimistic I've felt as an Arsenal fan that we may get over the line this season. With the way Liverpool have fell off drastically, no one saw that coming. 4 games out of nowhere, back-to-back. Man City, I had them to win against Aston Villa, but they proved to be their bogey team again. They lost 1-0. Haaland don't score. Man City don't win. That's what we're crying out now. So I think we're looking very, very good. And I think Arteta as well as a manager, remember, he's a new manager within 5 years. So maybe he's evolving into the manager that he now wants to be. He's had the critics about the negative football and he's making changes, albeit the win wasn't pretty against Crystal Palace. I still see positives from the lineups that he's choosing, how we're trying to play football, albeit it's been hard. But these teams, like you said, they're not coming out and playing football against us. So it's going to be hard to break teams down. Naturally, it's going to be hard to break teams down. Once we get that goal, Crystal Palace are a good side. Once we got the goal from the set piece, I wanted to see a bit more. Still wasn't good enough, but it was never going to score. So if we score 1 goal, I'm pretty confident at the moment that we can hold it out and not concede no goals and get some stinky 1-0s. It's not going to be pretty every game. That's how you win titles sometimes, yeah?
No, I agree with you on that. And I think, I just want to not defend you so much, Dan, because, you've been coming on only for a little while on here, but you're not someone that I think sits in the... I always differentiate myself from Amram outers, Ten Hag outers, Ollie outers, Jose outers. We've had a lot of Man United. I always differentiate myself because it's not about whether I agree with that passage of their that passage, that part of their belief. I question them on, well, what's your solutions? How do you think we can be fixed? What do you think the real problems at the club are? How do you think we should operate moving forward? You're not with the Arteta outers in the sense of you might have wanted Arteta gone, but 100%. you don't see football the way they see football. You're someone that has sat on the show and said he deserves credit for help getting us back to a point. Yeah, and I was talking about this earlier on today. What I find interesting was we were talking about content in general. One thing I don't understand, and I would love to have these conversations with Gooners about this, is how can you be as angry today, not narrowly missing out on winning league titles over the last 3 years, versus how angry you were when you were trying to get Wenger out, when you were dropping like a stone and falling apart? I don't see how the anger levels can be the same because you're in a completely different situation.
I'll tell you what that is, Tom. In their defense, it's PTSD, Terry. That's what it is. 20 years of pain. It can make you think crazy things. Do you understand?
But that's exactly it. If it's, I get this PTSD, but if it's PTSD, you know, I've unfortunately got a cousin of mine who suffered with very bad PTSD because of a bad scenario that he was in London, and he imagines things, noises, and smells. They're not real though. That's the thing about if a football fan ever says, I've got this opinion because I've got PTSD, what PTSD does is makes you think things are happening that are not actually happening. I thought I had a heart attack once live on a stream. It turned out in the end, it was just a really bad hiatus hernia. I didn't know I had it. I'd been animated on a show. Then I started getting this pain. I started panicking. And it's taken me about 2.5 years. I haven't called an ambulance for a chest pain now for about 9-10 months. But I developed something called cardiophobia. And the doctor told me on the 5th time in a week of calling an ambulance thinking I was dying, the doctor said, you're developing, we've seen this before with people. He went, there's no quick fix. You're going to just go through these episodes. I always say the paramedics that have turned up or when I've walked into the hospital, they've always been so lovely. Like, oh, hello, you're back. Let's do the check. Let's make sure you're okay. And it's awful. But essentially what the doctor said, he went, a lot of people don't like us using these words, but you start suffering with PTSD. And the problem is you start then imagining symptoms. So there were times where I got nothing wrong with my heart, touching wood, but I'd be sitting there and I'd be sweating, I'd be hyperventilating, and I'd have all these symptoms because my brain was telling me there was an issue. Now, that's something that's quite serious in terms of like my brain really is giving me the wrong information. So someone who's gone through that, someone who's got family members who've experienced some things and they've got it. So when I hear football fans say, yeah, I'm only saying this because of PTSD, my one challenge to it is, well, maybe we should take, not so much not listen to you, but maybe we should take your opinion too seriously then, because you're clearly telling us that you're not in the right mental state. Like when I was the way I was, all right, you shouldn't have been, like, I'm not really diagnosing medical stuff very well. Do you know what I mean? I didn't really have all those things wrong with me. And I look at it and think to myself, with you, back to the Arteta out conversation, you're not with those Arteta outers, because if you play well, you'll say what.
I thought I was negative, Terry. The Arsenal fans I've met of recent, some of them are in such a dark place right now and so obsessed with this I told you moment. Yeah, I'm not obsessed with no I told you this moment. I told you Arteta weren't good enough. They've got so obsessed with that. They're going into games and hoping we're losing, so their point's going to be proven. That is how far they've fallen. Yeah, they're not enjoying the wins. They're not enjoying watching the football. Yeah, Arsenal comes first. Yeah. So inadvertently, at the end of last season, I can understand I was Arteta out, yeah, but he's here this season. So inadvertently, I want Arsenal to win the Premier League. I want them to win the Champions League. Yes. I've got to get behind him regardless.
100%. And I also know, without asking you this question, I know the answer. If he does it this year and wins the league title, you're going to celebrate. You're going to be happy. You're not going to kick the can down the road. And the first comment out your mouth isn't going to be, yeah, but it's only one title in 7 years.
No,
I
that's
want more.
Crazy talk. That's crazy talk.
Exactly. So that's why I don't put you in the Arteta out category, because that is what those individuals are like. Those guys won't even give him credit for getting you to a point where you're disappointed to not win the league. And that's why what I find crazy, it's I get you might want him replaced to get you over the line, but the idea of, like, Man United fans, that me and Double A might not agree with me. If Amorim gets us to a point where we look like we can win a league title and after 2 or 3 attempts he wants to go, I would be heartbroken at United fans if they turned around and went, his entire tenure has been a complete failure from start to finish. He's done nothing for us. I'd sit there and go, hang on. We hadn't challenged for a title in 12, 13 years. If he in the next 2 years gets us to a point where we're disappointed not to win the league, the idea he's done nothing to improve us, I find that to be an absolutely ridiculous opinion to have. So that's why I don't sit with the Amorim outers, because I can tell by a lot of their attitudes, that's how they think and feel. And I can't side with them, even if I agree with one opinion they have, because the way they go about it, I think is wrong and whatnot. So sorry to put words in your mouth there, Double A. I'm sure you agree with me to a certain extent, but
no, you have to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
Like I said, where Arteta's taken us from, yeah, I've always said it, yeah. He's a man, what my saying was, yeah, he's built the house, he can't get the roof on. This was my saying about Arteta. He's done a very, very good job. This season is different. It feels different. Yeah, but I'm not getting carried away because I've been here before. Still earlier on in the season. Later on, once we get to the halfway point of the season, January, and I'll see where we're at, then I can start talking more. But right now, I'm remaining cautious. I've been burnt for 21 years, Terry. 21 years I've been burnt, yeah?
I hear that, mate. I agree with you. I agree with you. And it's certain age groups do it differently. Does that make sense? And it's funny because I see Chelsea fans really attacking. And Dan's similar age to me, double A similar age. I find it funny watching 24, 25-year-old and younger Chelsea fans have a pop at how Arsenal are playing. They're like, anti-football. You shouldn't want to win titles this way. And I'm like, you just don't remember Jose and Chelsea, do you? You don't remember they averaged 1.8 goals per game those seasons. They weren't overly expansive. They didn't beat many teams up. And you know that because they only averaged 1.8 goals per game. It wasn't like they were smashing teams 4 or 5-0 every week. 72 goals scored. But it was because they conceded 15 and 22, 2 seasons running, goals respectively. They were almost impossible to beat. They were solid at set pieces. They played nice football, but they just didn't, they didn't smash teams apart. Watching Chelsea fans moan about, disregard what Arsenal are doing, I find that to be so poetically beautiful and ironic. It's amazing. It's amazing. But the older ones don't do it. The older Chelsea fans that remember that football, they're very quiet on it because you end up undoing your own club's history and heritage. And I see that a lot on the social media game. This here from Akin, he says that this Gyokeres analyst is pathetic. He said, we said the same about Havertz last season and the season before. The issue is not just the striker, but the way we play. Arteta himself said it and what he told him.
I mean, I never looked at Kai Havertz as a bad technical footballer. I looked at him as wasteful. That's not what I'm calling Gyokeres.
Yeah. When Kai Havertz comes back and he starts a game, then I'm really going to get to analyse Gyokeres. Because if Havertz comes back in and we're looking better, it looks like we're gelling better and the football's more fluid, then there's real question marks for Gyokeres. That's all I'm saying on Havertz. I'm Havertz's biggest critic.
You know why?
Yeah, but of course Havertz is going to come back and it's going to look more comfortable, though. Of course, because they've played together a long time and it's the style difference. It's like the whole point is with Gyokeres is we're still adapting to play with a striker that's an actual number 9, an actual striker. And it sometimes does take players and systems a bit of time to gel and to figure out how to play like that. Of course, if Havertz comes back in, we'll revert back to what we were doing last season and we might look a bit more fluid right now. But in 5, 6, 7, 8 games time, if we gel correctly and Gyokeres gels correctly and it starts popping that way, that's going to be a more effective way of playing. Do
you not feel that bit though? It's been like a balloon's been popped though, yeah. Because when he came in, all the excitement, the celebration, top goal scorer in the world last year. Do you not feel like a balloon's been popped a bit? Because I am very underwhelmed and disappointed right now.
It's because I just think it's because I'm not saying you, bro, but I just think it's because football fans now are just overreactionary, like don't want to give anyone time anymore. We're like kids that are spoiled. We're like spoiled kids now, football fans. Now, I want it now. No, you've got to wait 10 minutes. It's in the oven. No, I want it now. I have a frozen pizza before it's cooked. Do you know what I mean? Like you need to sometimes wait.
Hang on a fucking minute. You're an Italian frozen pizza.
No, it was just
what are you doing, man?
The true side, Terry.
No, don't.
That's like a Jamaican buying. That's like a Jamaican buying Jamie Oliver's jerk rice, brother. It ain't happening. It shouldn't be happening, my G.
No.
Even Terry and Goldbridge in the summer were saying, anyone who thinks Gyokeres isn't scoring loads of goals, they're just doing it to be edgy. They don't know anything about football. I've got the receipts loaded ready because all I know is I'm not eating a hot chip in May. Somebody else is, and it's not.
At what point will you start questioning Gyokeres?
Did I do that bit?
Can I ask
No.
Henry
did.
No, it was Henry with this stupid one when he said it'll be 15 on penalty goals. In fact, no, it'll be 18 and thought he got a better deal.
That was the last time I had to call an ambulance for my chest. After I did a hot chip challenge. 2 hours later, I was in bits and I went into full PTSD mode. But now the doctors lied to me. I've got a problem. That really fucking hurt. That did. So yeah, I'm like, no way I made that bet again. I'd never put my self on that line. Let's go through some more of these super chats just because we're running out a little bit of time here. Arsenal's defense is good purely because of our off the ball work. We cut off all the supply lines and win the second balls. I'm hoping our injuries subside a bit because the way we play is taxing to the body, is what IS says here.
Winning second balls. I wish my team could do that.
Well, we'll come to you in a second. Actually, this year says Arsenal is like an elephant on the tree. We all know they will fall down. They choke harder then Maya K and fans are delusional, suffering from mental health. By the way, speaking of corn stars, do you guys remember? I don't know if you guys watched the Terrace back then, but I know what's his name. The Liverpool Sonny used to come on our shows. Liverpool fan Sonny used to come on. He's the guy when we did the quiz on Friday night on the Terrace. We asked him what the bird on the Liverpool badge was called, and which he called the bird Redbird. He didn't know it was a live bird. He called it Redbird. That was one of the most funniest quizzes ever. He does some amazingly weird but funny stuff on TikTok. And he did like a face of, those things people do on TikTok where people randomly appear and have a conversation. He was talking to some porn star called Rumi or Romy Indy or something. And he was just kidding. He is so funny because it's clearly a character he's playing. He's not himself. I know Sonny. It was just I don't know what, I just come to my head. He was very excited to be talking to a porn star. But he knew like who she was instantly as well. That was the funniest bit. Like he just knew, and that super chat reminded me of it.
I tell now my mind's thinking, who is she? Romy. I'm gonna go search for her now. Romy
or Rumi Indy, I think her name is. Just Maradon in the comments on that.
Terry pretended he don't know her name properly. Yeah, right. I think it might
I literally, I saw it on Instagram. I did search the name on Instagram and found the account. Not my thing, but there we go. As in, just not my thing. I don't watch any of that. Never watched it. Never been on it.
Say, what is your thing, Terry? Come on, spill the beans.
What's my thing? Walking my dog. I like going dogging. Walking my dog.
Dogging.
Yeah, walk my dog. We call it dogging. Oh, yeah. There we go.
Don't call it dogging around here. I'm telling you.
Tom. Fiction, fact or fiction? Mo Salah, Kerkez, and Wirtz are bigger problems than Arne Slot. They all deserve to be dropped.
Can I say it's a mixture of both?
Well, you have to say whether that statement is fiction or fact, and then break it down.
Based on the line of a bigger problem, it's fiction. They're all about the same problem. I think a lot of people have been really going at Arne Slot for the last couple of games. And I feel that it's a lot closer to a 50-50 split on players and manager than what people realise. People don't like stats. We come out statistically well in most games. I think against Chelsea, we had like double the XG, more big chances. That same against United. I think Brentford was a bad one in terms of they created like double the big chances we did, but we just can't handle long balls. And he keeps saying in press conferences, we can't handle long balls. I need to figure out a way to stop that. And it doesn't stop it. And they just play long balls every time. We can't handle it. But I also think a large part of it is the players aren't doing the basics right. If you're not doing the basics right, if you're not getting your fundamentals of football right, you're not going to win football matches. We don't win second balls. The amount of times a team will go long against us, Canate will battle with the tall striker, and then their winger will get the rebound ahead of our two DMs and our two fullbacks. It's ridiculous. And they get the second ball, and then we shit ourselves with the press. And then all of a sudden, they're in behind the wing back, and we're running back facing our own goal. The press is non-existent because he has a flawed philosophy on how he wants to defend, which just means we can't press from the front very well because teams just put an extra guy back and we're just wasting our time. But nothing goes about changing that. But at the same breath, when we are winning the ball back, certain players just aren't having the fundamentals, aren't doing what they needed to do. Kerkez cannot do the job he wants from a left back. So stop playing him there. Until you change what you ask of your left back, stop playing Kerkez in that role. The man cannot open up his body. If Van Dijk passes him the ball, Kerkez will only pass it backwards. Kerkez does not receive the ball off the centre-back and run forwards. He receives the ball off the centre-back and passes it backwards every time. It's a waste of a pass. It does nothing. We achieve nothing. The midfield, he finally found a decent pivot with Szoboszlai and Jones and a way to play them. And then against Brentford, he didn't play them the same way. And we sat there and couldn't handle the midfield. The wing, he figured it out against Frankfurt. He figured out a short-term solution. That can't be how we play forever. But against Frankfurt, a 4-4-2, getting your runners out wide, getting your 2 strikers up top, getting Wirtz a free roll in the middle, that can somewhat get us through games. We can create chances to get your most dangerous players in the right positions, etc. And then we go to Brentford. And also the 4-4-2 and how we shaped up in that game meant anytime they played a long ball, we dealt with it well because we had 4 guys in the immediate vicinity to win the long ball in the pivot and the 2 centre-backs. And then we go to Brentford and we do a 3-1-6 again. Stop doing a 3-1-6. We don't have the DM to do a 3-1-6. To play the 3-1-6 that Arne Slot thinks we need to play, you need to have a DM that's a monster at passing. If we wanted to play this system, we should have bought Wharton in the summer. We shouldn't have bought Kerkez and this, that, and we should have bought Wharton. Get a DM who's exceptional at passing. Because right now we're putting square pegs in round holes. Szoboszlai can do a job there. Gravenberch isn't getting the same joy as last season because teams are figuring it out. But again, a lot of this sounds like it's on the manager. A lot of it can be fixed with basics as well, because if it was all on the manager, we wouldn't be creating the chances we're creating. We wouldn't be causing problems that we're doing. We have been fundamentally flawed. The players aren't doing the basics and the manager's big decisions aren't working. But we can get through these games if the fundamentals are there, and they're not there right now. The players aren't working hard. The quality of pass isn't there. The confidence is low, and that's impacting everything. So everyone going, this is just on the manager. It's not. It's on. It's a mixture of the both. The manager's doing some things wrong 100%. But if the players aren't doing the basics, if the players aren't running and fighting and working to win them second balls back and pinning teams in, then we're not going to achieve anything. And it's frustrating because it's not like they can't do it, because they've done it pretty much every game this year for about 20 minutes. Just do it for the whole game.
Tom, I thought Liverpool fans at the start of the season were saying, we don't mind that we ain't getting zubi-dooby-doo. Sounds like you need zubi-dooby-doo.
We don't.
You do. You need a lot. Listen, I'm going to say this about you guys. I think Slot is the main reason. I think he's self-destructed. I've never seen a manager self-destruct so bad after winning a league title. First of all, Liverpool need to pay for him to go and learn how to do interviews, because he's literally telling everyone, firstly, how to beat you. Secondly, all your weaknesses, and then he's crying. Everything he's crying about, every team's like, mate, if this guy's crying about set pieces and crying about this, it's because he can't handle them. So we're going to use them and we're going to abuse them. And we're going to use all this stuff that he's crying about, because he's not crying about stuff about like ref decisions only and that. He's moaning about how teams are setting up against him. How are you doing this? Like, you won the league, mate. He's also, mate, I'm not being funny. I'm a firm believer. If it's not broke, don't fix it. You won the league. I know he has his style. Forget your style, mate. The style you used last year works. You won the league and you won it by a landslide last season. Yes, you lost some games towards the end because you're on the beach, because you'd already won. You won it comfortably last season, barely lost games, defensively solid. Why the hell has he tried to change anything? He's misprofiled.
We can't play the same way.
Because you've misprofiled your signings. Now, I don't know if that's on him or the board, because you didn't sign the correct players. You say you don't need a Zubimendi. I think you do. I generally think Zubimendi.
We have a way that works, but he's not doing it. He hasn't been able to for the last couple of games, but the way to do it is to put one of Curtis Jones or Szoboszlai at right back, which you can have an entire different discussion on why the fullback we bought a shit. I can't argue on that one. But the forward line, I've got no problem with. The solution is you need to get Szoboszlai, Jones, and Gravenberch in the midfield together, and you've got everything covered there. His lack of trust in Curtis Jones up till the last 2 weeks has been very detrimental to us. The way he used Ryan Gravenberch to start the season has been very detrimental to us. If you get them all together, what you have there is the right combination. You've got a guy that's all action in Szoboszlai, can get up and down and support attacks. You've got a guy who's good defensively and good at carrying the ball in Gravenberch. And you've got your guy who can keep the ball circulating in Curtis Jones. What we should have is a guy that can do multiple of them, like a Wharton, who is really good defensively, but really good at circulating the ball.
Wouldn't you say Zubimendi is pretty good at that, though?
Not as good as Wharton, though. Bear in mind, I'm saying get Wharton.
Not just sour.
Don't
do this now.
I think Wharton's better than Zubimendi.
Hey, listen, you see Wharton on the weekend. I watched him live. Top baller, mate.
Oh,
He's a baller.
Wharton is the top DM behind like Rodri in this league for me. Like he's the best in class you can get in terms of a footballer. It's not me saying Zubimendi's bad. I'm just saying Wharton is the top guy.
You can't,
and even then, I'd be asking him to do a lot.
My argument is you can think he's better, but you can't. You think they're similar profile, but you think he's better. But then you can't say you didn't need Zubimendi then, because then you say you need Wharton. Yes, maybe Zubimendi is not as good in your opinion as him, but you still needed him then. You still needed Zubimendi in your team.
No, because I promise you right now, Giuseppe, if we bought Zubimendi, we'd just be seeing us leave him out to dry. Because we're leaving whoever the DM is on an island. The only reason I'm saying Wharton is that exceptional. I could leave him on an island and he'd stay afloat. I don't know if Zubimendi could do that in terms of what we do with the DM, which is both his eights, fuck off right up the pitch, and are nowhere near for a short passing option. If he wants to progress the ball, he's got to play an inch-perfect pass or carry the ball 20 yards amidst three different under pressure.
I get that. I want to come back to the fact or fiction question. Double A. Do you think the likes of Salah, Kerkez, Wirtz need some time on the bench? Is that something that Slot's got to do? Because individually, they have been nowhere near the standard expected.
No, but then, Giuseppe was saying before about certain players needing time to bed in. I think coming into the Champions, I probably are expected to perform straight away, especially given Wirtz, who's obviously, £100 million player, expected to be one of the best players in the league immediately. And obviously that's not happened. Obviously, he had those 2 assists in the Champions League, but I'm going to say against a German team. So he probably should be doing that anyway. Let's not kid ourselves. Salah seems to be a problem for Liverpool at the moment, and being how good he has been, it's always going to be noticeable when there's a drop off with a player like that. Yes, it's aging. It could be, he's getting older. People are putting it down to he's got the contracts, and that's and even the Jota thing as well is being brought into the mix as well. The manager has to do what's best for the team, and if dropping him is what's best for the team, then he has to do it. It doesn't matter. This is the problem United face. You always bring it back to your own team. With Bruno, when Bruno is stinking out Old Trafford, he stays on the pitch regardless, no matter what. I think the one time he brought him off was at Liverpool, but his legs were gone. You could tell, he was struggling, and he managed to bring him off. But I think, sadly, eventually it'll come good. I'm not this whole slot out thing, and even I've seen Liverpool fans saying he won the league because of Klopp last season. Like, you can't just win the league because of you can't win the league because of managers. You're riding off the coattails of a manager's previous team. Do you know what I mean? He did fantastically well with that Liverpool team to win the league last season. I'll hold my hands up and say that. But they've brought a lot of players in for a lot of money, and the pressure is going to be on them from minute one. When they're not performing, when they're not playing well, and things look at the worst, the criticism is going to be massive. But it can't just be 3 players and the manager. It's a collective. Van Dijk isn't looking that great, is it? Do you know what I mean? The keeper isn't looking that great. Isak isn't looking that great. So there's factors in there outside of those four names you have to look at as well. The main person, the person who gets the scrutiny the most is the manager, and it's on him to prove his worth, to prove he's as good as what Liverpool fans hope he is, to get him out the mire. The one I say definitely needs to maybe hold bench more than the most at the moment, because it looks like he played better without him, is probably more Salah. But I think eventually it'll be more Salah again, and this will all be forgotten if he gets.
The one thing I'll say about Salah is last year everything was set up in the correct way to use him. We had, if you look at our team, that there was a right back there that was quite good at passing, apparently, and then everyone else was just there to run around him. And we basically played Mohamed Salah as a quarterback, and when our entire attacking plan is to give him the ball in like somewhere close to their box on the right hand side, and then Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, the striker, the left winger, and the other 8 are just going to run somewhere. And what's going to happen then is Salah's got so many runners to pick out. We're going to trust him to pick them out. Now this year, he hasn't been good at passing. I'm not going to say he's been great. But we've stopped running for him. We are so stagnant in the attack now. There's no movement. So he's getting the ball in these wide areas. And he's got the striker standing still. The 8 standing still. The 10 standing still. The only option he's got is the right back, who's actually running behind a man and taking himself out of the equation. So the fluidity that we had last year that was causing teams problems, because that's how you break down stubborn defenses, we've moved away from that now. We're now extremely rigid, and it doesn't work. We're not finding the spaces. We've not got the quality of pass to break down these opposition if we're in a rigid structure. The players haven't got it. So you need to be fluid and chaotic again. And I don't think that... if we were to start doing that again, if we were to give Salah 3 or 4 runners every single attack, but I'm watching him overhit every pass, underhit passes, then I'm sitting there going, yeah, okay, he might need to go. He might need to go on the bench. But right now, I'm sitting there going, if he's not on the pitch, we're also a lot less threatening. We're not much threatening now anyway, but we're a lot less threatening without him on the pitch. The manager needs to figure out what he's right now caught between 2 ideals in my mind. He really wants to go to what his new vision of Liverpool is, and I think that's 2 up top in Isak and Ekitike with Wirtz in behind, and then Szoboszlai, McAllister, and Gravenberch, and then fullbacks that push up dead high. But he's also still got a world-beaten Mohamed Salah in his team who got 400 grand a week last season, so he's got to accommodate him. He's trying to do a mix of both. You can't do a mix of both.
Do you think it's mad that I'm going to put this down to one player? But do you think not getting Gehi has upset the apple cart a lot for how the manager wanted to move forward this season?
Based on the underperformance of other players, yes. So Mark Gehi would have come in and been so good at passing that we would have got away with the fact Kerkez can't pass. And we would have got away with the fact the right back can't pass. What's happened this season is we only have one option for build-up out the back, because teams aren't scared of what Kerkez is going to do. They're not scared of what Frimpong or Bradley's going to do. They're not scared of what Kanati's going to do. That's why so often in games you'll see one of Gravenberch go to centre-back or Szoboszlai go to right-back, because he has to get someone who can progress the ball in the back line somehow. If we've got Gehi, you've got 2 guys there. So they can't do what they're doing now, which is almost marking Van Dijk out the game when we have the ball and force one of the other guys who they don't rate as highly to do something. If it's Gehi, then all of a sudden they're in a bit of a different situation. So I do think missing out on him has impacted that side of the game a lot more. I don't think it's changed us defensively. I think we're just really shit defensively. But it's not like... Ironically, we're not... People don't like when I say this. We're not getting cut apart in many games. Palace cut us apart on counter-attacks, which is now apparently not open play, so it don't count. And United cut us apart in transition. But in terms of teams sitting there and consistently breaking us down through the lines, no, it's just we sit. My manager sat there all season and went, "Fucking hell, we're shit at long balls, aren't we?" It'll be all right. And then sits there after and go and moans, "What? They're playing long balls against us? How dare they?" And another one, he loves some more about set pieces. Just fucking get good at them yourself.
But why are you so bad at them, Tom? Why are you so with Van Dijk, Kanate?
Because they're not. Because I hate zonal marking. You'll get me into a big rant on zonal marking. We put our 2 best headers of the ball in the positions no one crosses to.
That's the manager's fault.
Whoever the set piece coach is, because apparently he's the guy who runs it all.
Coach and the manager.
We put Kanate and Van Dijk in the middle of the 6-yard box. You've watched your team take how many corners in the past how many years? When has your team ever put one on the middle of the box, on the middle of the 6-yard box? Never, because that's where the most fucking congestion is. You need the guy on the front post and the guy on the back post. And your keeper should have the confidence to be able to claim it if it comes through the middle in that case. Instead, we put them in the middle. The keeper's fucked because he can't come out and claim it. And then we leave centre-backs or centre-mids and strikers on the front and back post, and they're shit at defending. And then we sit there and go, oh, what? They're beat us at the front post again? We conceded a long throw against Brentford. Do you know who the guy with the defensive header was? Ekitike. The fuck are you marking our front post for? What are you doing marking the front post?
It depends.
Why is that not one of my centre-backs?
I mean, Havertz last season and Gyokeres this season seems to be the player for us always on the front post because they can header it away. They seem to get it done.
Yes, but my strikers can't head the ball away.
Okay, they can't. Yeah, fair enough. I don't know if he can or not.
Ekitike's not very good at heading the ball. And even then, if it's not him, it's Gravenberch. Gravenberch is not very good at heading the ball. The first goal against Palace comes from him fucking up a defensive header. So the guys we're putting in these positions to head the ball away aren't heading the ball away. Set pieces and transition are killing us. And then what's happening is we're having to chase every game. So his plan, I don't know if an Arne Slot plan works, I don't know if Arne Slot's vision of football works. Because I don't get to see it because we're 1-0 down inside 15 fucking minutes and he's changed everything. I don't get to see if his grand plan for football is actually any good because we go 1-0 down in the first 15 minutes and he instantly goes, all right, how can I get as many guys forward as possible? And then, if God forbid, we're not level by the 60th minute. Because at that point, God, you think we play 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1? No, we play 3-0-7.
Can I ask you a question before we go do the last super chats? Do you think, title race wise, do you think it's over?
Title race? I'd take top 4. I'd take consolidation here. Get in the top 4, rebound after that. I can't be talking about title race right now.
It's only October. It's only October, mate. It's only October. Come on.
Just thought I'd ask.
United, if Arsenal lose the next game, United win. United are not even that far off the top of the table. I don't think these are the final standings. I don't,
David.
No, I mean, I wouldn't mind stopping the point of view. I wouldn't mind stopping the count now.
According to Ches, you're still in the title race, David.
Hey, if there's one thing we've learned about Chelsea, I speak for myself. Don't involve me.
We can't take Ches seriously. Ches still hasn't put his predictions for the season in yet. He hasn't put them into the group chat, and Ches, we're still waiting for his predictions.
I'm still waiting for his predictions from last season. I asked him for his predictions last season in October. I still haven't got them.
Do you know what's going to happen? Well, mate, his predictions, we won't hear him. Bournemouth could win the league, and it'll be like, that was my predictions at the start of the season. Do you know what I mean? That's what he's sort of.
Yeah, definitely.
But even though he said it's only 9 games in, you know, this is going to be the final. I'm just going off the next 2 games. Our next 2 games are Villa and City.
But this is
Erling Haaland against our defence at the minute.
This goes back into the conversation about our Arsenal clear favourites, because I haven't I haven't changed publicly my opinion yet, and I haven't, and I'm going to wait till the international break, because if Arsenal win the next 2 games, it's a guarantee that City or Liverpool or both drop points in the next 2 games because they play each other. They both have more difficult. Both their games, both City and Liverpool's next 2 games are harder than Arsenal's. If we live in a world where they both drop points in both, they draw 1, they lose 1, whatever it may be, and Arsenal win both their games. And I don't mean it disrespectfully to Tottenham, Bournemouth, Sunderland, or even United. If we win our next 2 games, the 2 teams that genuinely have the managers, the squad that I think could win the league. If Arsenal go into the next international break and they're 9, 10, 11, 12 points ahead of those sides, that's when I look at it and go, although I don't think there is this huge gap between your teams overall when you're all playing at your optimum best, having that kind of gap, for me, makes you the clear favourites from that point, because that's a 3 or 4. I mean, I'm not, the thing that what I would say is right now, I'm not sure Arsenal will lose more than 5 games all season, which when you look at City, who have already lost 3, Liverpool have already lost 4, it gives them barely any room for mistakes, unless the only way really is if Arsenal have a massive collapse, as the previous super chat about Arsenal falling out of trees comes into play. You might get to a point where they're 10 points clear. Then the only way Arsenal throw it away is they'd have to lose 3 or 4 games that no one expects them to lose, because there's no way. I just can't see Liverpool or City from now going to the end of the season without losing another 3 or 4 games, just with the way they're playing. So yeah, it's an interesting one. This super chat here says, what's annoying me with Victor Gyokeres? I see improvements each game, just not seeing the accumulation of those improvements in one performance. Big up to the panel. I can understand why you think that, and you wanted to get more goals. I thought he'd have a few more goals than he does by now, to be fair. That's true. But I'm like I've said about Wirtz, like I've said about some United signings and other club signings, I'm not going to be writing players off straight away just because they haven't started brilliantly. We'll see what happens with him. Gents, thank you all for coming on. I really do appreciate it. Viewers, super chatters, everyone who's hit the like button, a big thank you to all of you. We're back tomorrow, hot takes in the morning, myself and Mark Goldbridge at around 11 a.m. So look forward to seeing you. We have straight fact in the afternoon. And I will again call it out. The TV scheduling this week of Carabao Cup games, all the big sides play on Wednesday. Not one of them's on tomorrow night. And you sit there and think, you pay for Sky and it's put them all on the same night, which means you can't even watch. It's hard to watch them all. Does that make sense? They could have easily split them over the Tuesday and the Wednesday and made it 2 good nights of football. But instead, all on one night. The fuck's that about? It's ridiculous, Sky. Sort yourselves out, you mugs. Like this weekend was the same. Like you could have moved the games around a little bit more, to make the weekend, like spread it out a bit. Honestly, they're so shit at what they do. Like, why were Everton and Spurs the Super Sunday game? Why? It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. This is going to redirect you somewhere. Where's it redirecting you? This is going to send you to, I need to check. Is it going anywhere? I thought it was meant to go somewhere. I'm checking now because I don't like to miss these in case. Is anyone going live after this? Let me check. I thought someone put it. KJ told me that it was happening. Hang on. It should be. I don't know if it's been done. It's going to be sending you to Hassam's A-listers show. So go and make sure you are supporting Hassam over there. They're going live momentarily on his channel. Go and cook him. Go and cook that fraud over on his channel. Until next time, people. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we're going to see you all again very, very soon.